I started watching a lot of these YouTube videos where I was, rather than learning about and studying about successful people, I started seeing things why they fail. I have not lied to any employee saying कि हम लोग एक family है. You have to be very transparent about the way you are, the way the values of the company are, and the way you want to see it grow, and the way they can also grow with the company, right? You need to understand what is someone's goal in life.
When you're a kid growing up seeing these brands, you want to be that person. Oh, Steve Jobs sounds cool, and you know he sounds cool, and I want to have his life. But when I studied about his life, I was like, this is not my life. I don't want it.
Being 26 years old, I get judged a lot when I tell my friends that I sleep at 10:30 because it's a very कि Karan तू तो बूढ़ा हो गया वाला age. My body just rejects all of that right now. They're like, my body is just like, Karan, be healthy to think healthy, right?
It is the time when you'll attract right talent only when you contribute to them.
Correct.
You know, I think after a point, you don't only bring to the table what you are in terms of your qualifications, your experience and all of that. You also bring who you are.
For me, it's taken me, I think, more than 5-6 years to understand myself. I started understanding why do I get angry. Therapy is not about you take care of me, I'll take care of you, right? It's about I'll take care of me for you, you take care of yourself for me.
Hi everyone, welcome to the journey with me, Shobha Rana. Well, my today's guest is very special because he's a young entrepreneur. Well, he's somebody who lives and breathes entrepreneurship. He has co-founded quite a few brands so far. He's all of 25, but he's already a founder of GoCase, Homey, WeCape, Steam Up, and I can't keep up with all the names. He's going to tell us more about his story. So please welcome with me, Karan Sharma.
Hi Shobha, how are you doing?
I'm good, Karan. How are you? Are you getting awkward with this whole setup?
No, I'm completely normal. I'm completely cool with also how warm the team is. So yeah.
Thank you for sparing time coming over here.
Thank you for having me.
Karan, you've been going to a lot of platforms now. You've been invited as a speaker, and you're talking there, and sharing your journey. So tell us something about your journey. How did you start, and how does one inculcate this entrepreneurial spirit in themselves, and maybe polish it to produce better results?
So I think my entrepreneurial dream started at a very, very, very young age. Not a very young age, of course, but it was when I was 16, 17-ish. At home, I've always had access to, my mom and dad wanting and giving me whatever I wanted to buy, right? But then that never really stopped me from I want to own something of my own. So, when I was around 16, 17-ish, when I was in Chennai, my dad being a military dad, I made friends in Bombay over BlackBerry Messenger, BBM, right? Like BBM was a very big. I made these 3-4 friends in Bombay, and they've just told me that हम लोग phone cases बेचते हैं, and I was like, like मेरे को भी काम करना है, मेरे को भी तुम लोग दो. So they're like, you start selling in Chennai, and I was like, Chennai में मेरे दोस्त ही नहीं है, right? Because I have spent most of my childhood in Andaman and Nicobar, and then I've stayed in 7 cities after that. So that's a huge, like number of cities and a lot of friends that I've made all over India right now and stuff. So these guys weren't really convinced enough, saying ki Karan aaja, so they took their own sweet time, right? So they just gave me a target, saying ki ek kaam kar, you, and also they told me I can only sell in Bombay, even though we could ship anywhere in India. There were a lot of shipping charges and stuff, and Amazon and Flipkart were nothing, like they were not known to people, right? And everything. So
almost 10 years ago, 9 years ago.
Almost 9-10 years ago, almost there. So all of that happened, and then these people got me on board as a co-founder, and that was the first time I was feeling cool because I was, I was studying here also, and I was kind of selling cases to all of my friends. And from the very beginning, I was very lucky in terms of making the right friends in Bombay. So let's just say if they were selling a phone case for 300 rupees to anyone, I would sell the same case to 1,000 rupees. In 1,000 rupees, okay?
In Chennai.
In Chennai and in Bombay, because I made richer friends. I don't know how and from what, but like I just attracted the right people is what I would say. So imagine the margin, like someone getting it landed from China to India in 25-30 rupees, and you're selling it for 300, and I was selling it for 1,000 rupees because I was pocketing more money, right? And we all had sales target.
So where did that 700 go then?
It would come in my pocket.
Your pocket directly?
It would come in my pocket, yeah. So I would pay the company whatever amount that was like.
How many cases did you sell in how much time?
So I would sell around 45 to 50 cases every month, which was very less. Also, I was selling to people who I didn't know, right?
At 16, if you're making that kind of money,
Yeah, I
I
was
mean, it's cool.
making very good amount of pocket money back in the days. There's that much margin in that business, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
And that's the reason that even today, that entire market is so competitive. Like, if you type the word, I think, phone cases on Amazon, I don't know how many zeros are going to come in your search results. Because
Correct.
even when we do analysis of a product, right, we check it out on Amazon and Flipkart. Ki, acha, if you want to start something, you want to sell something. Let's say if it's t-shirts, you go on Amazon or Flipkart, you type and you're like, okay, this is how big the market is, right? I mean, yeah, that was gone case. And then between studies and everything, also like
What did you
being very
study?
nomadic. This is the first time I'm telling publicly also because no one knows about it. Very close friends, like my 1% of my close friends know about this. So 11th May, in the last set of exam, like, before you clear, you go to 12, there are these, they used to call it as a pre-board exam, whatever. And I cleared all the subjects. Physics, mein, out of 100, I got 3. Okay, so I got 3. I was, ठीक है चलो हो गया. And then the teacher just told me कि Karan, there's a retest for whoever's failed, because the paper was tough and all. So I'm like, tough क्या होता है? मैंने तो पढ़ाई नहीं की थी. How does it matter, right? So that happened, and then she like, there's a retest. I'm like, okay, great. So the retest was out of 50 marks. So it was half the time, and they just said they'll multiply the marks, and whoever passes, they pass, right? वो सब हुआ तो आई फील दैट ऑल्सो बिकॉज आई डोंट रिमेंबर आई वॉज बिजी विद सम फुटबॉल मैच कुछ तो टूर्नामेंट कुछ तो चालू था तो आई एम लाइक यार वील पास एंड एवरीथिंग एंड आई ऑलवेज हैड दैट ग्रज कि who will make me fail. I will like how can someone make me sit in 11th standard and like follow that. So
Did you have a sense of entitlement or
I kind of did, but it was very wrong on my part, and I learned something from that as well, right? Because I'm like, Karan, things will not go your way every time in life in stuff. You will see a train hit your face one day. That's when you realize that okay, this is something you need to learn from and not let it happen again. तो रीटेस्ट हुआ वो भी मैं फेल हुआ रीटेस्ट हुआ द थर्ड वन आई फेल दैट ऑल्सो देयर वाज अ फोर्थ टेस्ट विच वाज 4 5 kids in one room and the teacher loved me so much because I was a very nice and a very like good kid in class like I would
and they were clear that we have to just get them out of
yeah
this
and you know
game.
what she did so she gave me the question paper before the exam
Oh
she gave me
God.
20 questions and she like Karan इसमें से 10 आएगा तू एटलीस्ट 5 पढ़ ले तू पास हो जाएगा आई विल लाइक यार दिस इज टू गुड टू बी ट्रू आई डिडंट टच इट आई एम लाइक शी वांट्स टू फेल I don't know what it
Oh
you
my
know that yin and
God.
yang in your brain is there right which tells you कि ये सही है ये गलत है तो I'm like teacher wants you to fail मैं ये नहीं पढ़ूंगा मैं अपना syllabus पढ़ूंगा and obviously she gave me the question paper and I did not study from it so I flunked so my principal just said कि Karan we can't make you pass because जो 4 बच्चे जो तेरे साथ हुए हैं they've all said yes to repeat 11th so they're like you also repeat 11th I'm like I'm not repeating 11th and all that so I just said I'm leaving the school and I'm going right so then my mom and I went as a cold callings होती है right we went to multiple schools with my this thing with my mark sheet and everything and there was this one letter like the last I don't know what it's called again I forgot the name but it's basically when a principal signs that saying कि has he passed the class उसमें उसने yes नहीं लिखा उसने उसको खाली छोड़ा right so I then I joined Sri Chaitanya everything and luckily that teacher he asked me point blank the principal of that entire thing asked me point blank saying have you passed 11th so I just said no because I am not gonna lie, right? Like I will like make you झूठ बोलूँ ये कल को if he call up my school it's the same city or what if he knows the principal and she stays अरे Karan Sharma तो I know really well and all and my mom being a makeup artist, right? All the dunya ka gossip would go to her because you know how things are in a salon, right? Like let's just say someone's come for a straightening or a haircut. They'll तो straight up say अरे हाँ करण was seen roaming around with this girl करण तो ये class bunk करा था करण को physics में इतने आए करण ने तो whatever XYZ reason right तो everything of about me would reach my mom and then reach my dad obviously right all of that so yeah then I joined Sri Chaitanya and everything and things were good after that study wise of course but then work for me was always a priority because I'm like कि पढ़ने लिखने के बाद भी मैं क्या उखाड़ने वाला हूँ like I always thought all of that so I finally did science in 12th and everything and then उसके बाद I did BCom because I was like कि namesake का degree and also there was a break so when I did 12th and I didn't like do college I did it for my mom straight up told me that if I want to go to the US or somewhere outside um, I will need some sort of I will either need like $1 million in my bank or I'll need a degree to show कि मैं पढ़ा लिखा हूँ right so उसके fear से I was like shit I'm 22 23 21 22 I was like I don't have a degree let me just get a degree done so that's how I got my degree done but that was very sidelined for me and I took correspondence so I used to just go once a year
You were
study once
focusing
a
on
night
your other ventures.
exactly yeah because I believe that things would have worked out for me better And on top of that, if I even think about, even if I got a degree and a normal job, right, I believe I would have taken years to reach and climb the ladder in life.
How important is it for now you as an entrepreneur? How much does your educational background weighs on your resume, or when you go to investors, or when bring out an idea? How much does it really weigh?
So, very funny thing, I don't have a CV. I've never had a CV. I've always done something of my own, and I've always, either if I've joined something of somewhere else, it's always been through reference. कि okay, Karan ने ये achieve किया है इतने महीनों में, so let's hire him for whatever he is and whatever he does, right? Because I know that work is the number one driving force, and even all of my classmates, in fact, like all of my seniors who were toppers and who were like the top 5%, when I get in touch with them today, they're the ones who literally message me on Instagram saying, weekend pe kya kar raha hai? Do you want to chill? And can I hang out with your friends and stuff? Because, my friend circle has, I would just say, generally upgraded. Because when you take a jump from the military life, like the kid life, to a civil life, it takes a lot of years, right? I think I've been managed, like I've been able to do that really well.
So the feeling a sense of entitlement all your life, like at least your growing up years, because you were from a military family, you've stayed in good
Eight
houses
cities,
and
yeah.
all of that, right? And you've traveled around so much and stuff. So when you mark on your entrepreneurial journey in a city like Mumbai, what is the sort of transition? That whole sense of entitlement that goes into the dustbin, I think,
Yeah,
right? And then you're like, I have to now build
yeah,
from the scratch, and I have to be this way, and I have
correct.
to attract my right audience, my right crowd, and all of that. So tell us something about that transition.
So that
This
transition,
boy who is conditioned in a certain way is now becoming
yeah.
a person who is trying to convince people, who is trying to
Go out there and knock
correct.
doors and everything, right? So I think that happened to me first when I moved out of the house. I was staying all alone and COVID happened, right? And my mom and my dad have always been like bachpan se. Even in fact, I have an elder brother, so even he can cook, right? So very 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 funny story was when COVID happened. COVID started, my flatmate, like I was staying in Oshiwara in Andheri West, Bombay itself, and my flatmate very randomly took a flight to Bangalore on 15th of March. I remember this.
Never came back.
He never came back,
Oh wow.
and I was all alone. Okay, and when COVID hit, my very, very, very close friend Shambhavi, she also lives alone in Bombay. She used to live in Andheri East back then. And also, I was like, ki ek hafte ke liye, if, Modi ji said it, it's only for a week. So I'm like, 1 week you come, we'll have each other's support, right? Like if you fall sick or if you get COVID, if I get COVID, koi
Were you
rahega.
scared?
I was very scared. I was
Yeah.
very scared. And also, both of us were like such gadhas that we both couldn't even boil water. We couldn't boil water.
But did you
We were
stay
that bad.
together?
Yeah, and again the entitlement popped up where also like being in the military, right? Like we've always had access to like 24-hour maids.
Yeah.
Like like if you want Didi to come at whatever time, she'll come and she'll cook for you, right?
Yeah.
And same with Shambhavi, like she's come from Varanasi and everything, and she's had whatever she wanted in life and all that. So when COVID happened, so we ordered from one food aggregator, okay. And when we ordered the food, एक घंटे के बाद the delivery wala calls her up, and we did a prepaid thing, thinking कि cash wash का भी क्या होगा, because I was calculating everything that could go wrong. I'm like probably if they're shutting everything, ATMs might not have cash. So I'm like जितना 2-3 हज़ार रखा है वो रखे रहने दो, we'll figure it out later and everything. And I was very happy because I got my KYCs and all done पहले से, like normally, right? So I was like, I can pay online, I won't have any issues and stuff. That delivery wala calls up and he says, and we had ordered for dosa and uttapam. And we had ordered itna sara, we thought कि 3 दिन यही खाएंगे. Because it was the last thing. And Modi ji had come live saying कि आज रात से बंद होने वाला है, right? Like he
Right.
just said कि tonight is the last night.
So that last night you ordered for 3 days
We
already.
did, so we did. Yeah, that's why we called for so many medu vadas, idlis and dhoklas, everything, okay. वो सब हुआ and the deliverer calls up saying, sir, ये तो बंद है. And I don't know how many galis we must have given him, and Shambhavi, like, she just went very hyper, okay? She just went like, कि आप क्या मजाक कर रहे हो? And she, rather than understanding him, she just started shouting because we were panicking, right? We were like, भैया हम 1 घंटे से wait कर रहे हैं, आप अभी कैसे बोल सकते हो? Like we were so dumb.
You didn't even stock up your.
Nothing.
Oh boy.
And because we thought एक हफ्ते के लिए, right? And we thought Swiggy Zomato कहीं नहीं जाने वाला. And always mom used to always be like कि बेटा learn how to cook, and she would always use the word bahu and all, okay? All of that saying, your wife will beat us up and say कि क्या in-laws है and everything, कि खाना नहीं बना सकता and all of that. So back in those days, my security guard in the building, I had no one to talk to, right, like physically, and I was confined to that one small little. Of course, everyone was, तो I used to just go talk to my guard saying आप किधर के हो, क्या करते हो and all of that, and he was like कि सर मेरा पहले 12 घंटे का ड्यूटी होता था, अब 24 घंटे का मैं ये बिल्डिंग में रहने वाला हूँ. And then I was talking to him one day and his food came. His food came in a chotu sa tiffin. And I'm like, ये क्या आपके लिए snacks आता है? Because I thought it's a snack quantity, right? It's not a food quantity. Like नहीं सर ये मेरा खाना पानी है. I'm like इतना आता है, like हाँ एक हफ्ता से कंपनी कम भेज रहा है क्योंकि पैसा वैसा नहीं है and all of that. So I was like मैं खाना दूंगा तो आप खाओगे क्या? The guard was also so happy, like he was like कि सर आप मेरे को खाना वाना भेज रहे हो all of that. And later on I started sending food to a couple of other guards आजू बाजू वाला building because Oshiwara as an area it's very like you'll find 10 societies in like a very
Yeah,
small
yeah,
distance,
small
right?
this thing, yeah.
All of that. So that when he started appreciating me, I'm like, चलो मैं अब मैं neighbor को भेजता हूँ, right? Because I'm like, you know, neighbors are not going to send me food unless I send them something, right? All of that.
You
First,
know how these little things kept us also going in that phase,
I
because
swear, yeah,
everything had stopped. I mean, how much
yeah.
can you really work? How much can you really research? How much can you really upskill and study and all of that? I did all of that during the lockdown because for me it was like a career break. You know, a break that I willingly wanted to take, but not in this way that everything would come to a halt, right?
Exactly,
So
exactly.
nobody was prepared for this. But these little activities that we did, and you know, the skills that we learned and developed, and
Yeah,
this whole concept of talking to your neighbor and checking on people, and
yeah.
the whole thing of kindness resurfacing in our hearts also. And not that we are not kind people, but we are so busy in our own lives
That we
that
don't know who our neighbors are. I swear.
we don't take a note of it, right?
Yeah.
And that happens with most of us now. So I think COVID was in that way a very jolting, yet very sort of bringing you to the reality of life kind of an
Correct.
experience for
And
everyone.
I think also like during that period, right, I had divided my house into different sections and boundaries because I also ended up in a very, I would say, depressive bubble because when you're all alone, right, your own thoughts kill you, right? Like for me
How
to,
did you identify that you were going towards that depression bubble, and
I
what were your
started,
symptoms like?
I started scrolling on my Instagram a lot, and I'm like, this is not healthy and stuff,
How
and
many hours a day were you
I
on?
think I think 4 5 hours, which is max. I mean, even right now, I don't like my work for social media is that I use it as a marketing channel. I have followers, I follow people just for them to see my stuff. That's it. I know it's very greedy and very selfish of me, but that's what I do,
Yeah.
right? Because
So, see, for all of us, our social profiles, social media profiles have become sort of windows to the world where they see your skill and whatever you bring to the table as a professional. For me, also, it's a very professional channel. Although I do put in a lot of my heart and I, you know, say things that I truly believe in and stuff. But somewhere, it's also a professional sort of an gateway
yeah,
to the world. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
yeah,
But how much you engage with it, and that is completely up to you. That's a
thousand
choice
percent.
that you have to make.
So like even in my house, right? Like I would like I'd also set timings. If I want to take a nap in the afternoon, it has to be in the other room on this bed because you know things became so repetitive in
So you
terms of
started drawing these boundaries and these
yeah,
things
yeah,
for
yeah. So I was
yourself.
like, okay, I have to cook between this to this. Like I made an entire calendar, like a schedule for
Yeah,
myself as well.
scheduling yourself was, I think, one of the biggest challenge that everybody
Correct, correct.
faced, because you
Yeah.
could get up at any time, you
I
could
s-
sleep at any time, you could
yeah,
watch entertainment
yeah.
is cheap, you could watch
People started playing
all of
Ludo so
that.
much. Oh my
Yeah,
god, all my friends.
yeah,
There were
yeah.
so many WhatsApp groups that I was added on in those three
Somebody would
months.
send a link. Oh, I've done that a lot myself. Not a lot, but I've done a fair bit of Ludo and chess
Yeah.
online. Yeah,
I think all of us have. It's
yeah,
been a
yeah,
it's
yeah.
been a game changer and a hero for all of us. But then in my head, like you know, like again, I was like, Karan, I can't sit at home for so long. I need to start making money, right? So at the back of my head, I was always thinking of what can I learn, right? And I think everyone probably had the phase. A lot of my friends were like, कि हमने एक महीना बर्बाद तो किया है, but then you know later on we started like realizing कि let me do this crash course, let me you know like go on a Udemy or all of these websites and learn
So were
something.
you still working in that phase? Were you still building some product,
I
or?
was working, but then eventually I stopped working because I was like, I can't do this anymore. Because work-wise, leads were kind of dying out and work stopped. So I'm like, let me not like have that work end, like that work period of mine go down. Because if that started taking a toll on me, I would have been 10 times more sadder. Thinking कि काम भी नहीं हो रहा, personal life भी नहीं हो रहा, तो like let me just shut it all, right? Like all of that and stuff. And in fact, very interesting thing is that music helped me cope up a lot when I was alone. The only good thing my flatmate left behind back then was his Alexa का वो HomePod होता है ना, the big one. So I had music on in the hall 24 hours.
Yeah.
It's a very weird thing to say, but I
No,
always had
music
music
is
on.
therapeutic.
Yeah, and I always had like jazz music or something and all of that during my eating hours and stuff. And if I was cooking, I would like play some rock music and all of that stuff. So it was a very, very, very important time for me because it helped me explore myself. I think COVID nahi hota to I would have been somewhere else.
So what did you do on your entrepreneurial side during the two and a half years
So
of COVID?
I started watching a lot of these YouTube videos where I was rather than learning about and studying about successful people, I started seeing things why they fail. I mean, it sounds very sadistic, but I know ki,
No, I think there
success.
are some great insights and learnings there if
I
you
swear, yeah,
really
yeah, yeah.
look into that
I
side.
mean, I could just go today and I could just type, why is Steve Jobs successful? And then, the way they make it sound, it just sounds very easy. Ki, acha, he did this, he made Apple and this, that, and he was kicked out from the company. He
No,
was
even
called
he
again.
has a series of failures
Exactly,
and depression and all
exactly,
of that.
exactly.
Yeah.
Now, if I journey down to someone else's failure in terms of, okay, was this person stubborn enough to like not pick up funding at the right time, or did he pick up too much funding? Was his team not right? Was his business not right?
Was he
Uh,
an arrogant leader?
Exactly. Like it
All
could
of
be it
that,
could
right?
be as small as what happened to Yahoo, what happened to BlackBerry, what
Right.
happened to Nokia, and everything,
When you're
right?
a
So,
kid growing up seeing these brands, you want to be that person. Oh, Steve Jobs sound cool, and he
yeah,
sounds cool, and I want to
yeah.
have his life. But
I
when
swear,
I studied about his life, I was like,
this is
I
not
don't. This is
easy.
not my life. I don't want it.
This is not easy.
Yeah.
And even if like if you even look at, let's just say, Amazon's journey, right? Like Jeff Bezos' journey, like him being the richest, second richest man
Second
right
richest
now
man in the world.
after
Yeah.
Elon Musk, of course. Things haven't come easy to him at all, right?
No, not at
It's
all.
been, if you see his videos of him sitting in the office and talking about how someone can sell a book on the same platform versus how you can sell a boat on the same platform, right? Like people were like, "Oh, this is great," and nobody accepted him because it was also like his timing matching at the right time, at the right generation as well, because internet was growing and stuff, right? So all of that helped him. Of course, I need to figure out things that will work for me. Like, what is it that I can learn from such people? What habits can I implement of theirs? Like,
Yeah, these are the things talked about at a time when democratization of commodities and anything was not well received.
correct,
Now you talk about it and everybody buys into the idea. But
correct,
yeah,
correct. Correct. It's just the way that you implement it with yourself in terms of being nice to people, in terms of understanding the other person, is where you will be a people person. And I think, like, I use this word a lot, and even what we use at a new company, Wild, is that your net worth is your network. Your network is your network.
net
Sorry, I should
worth,
say.
of course.
So I've always been a people person in a way where I'm like, कि ठीक है, अगर इसको जानता हूँ तो मेरा ये काम हो सकता है. And that same goes for
But do you
club
also end
entries.
up making real connections?
Thousand
Like
percent.
real, genuine friendships that you can rely on and things like that.
So I mean, I'm not kidding. If I call up any of my friends right now and I tell them, like, let's just say if I even call them saying, मैं लड़ाई बड़ाई
If you'll
में.
ask them for money, would they?
In fact, they have helped me. So after COVID, I did have a lot of ups and downs in terms of money situation and stuff. And I've gone to my 5 friends and they've in fact sent me 2x the money that I wanted. Like,
Wow.
I mean, I don't know if you probably agree with me or not, but if you go to your dad for, let's just say, asking for 10 rupees, he'll give you 5 rupees saying, "Tu utne se kaam chala," okay? If you go to your mom asking for 10 rupees, she'll give you 20 rupees saying, "Beta, ye le." And all right. So my friends are like the mom friends where all of them have, if I've gone and asked them for like let's just say a 20, 30K in terms of, let's say, my cash flow in my life gets a little screwed up, which has again taught me, because I knew if my salary is coming later or if I have to pay off the employees first and I'm not a priority for the company, that how important money management is also, like it comes in, right? So with my
So,
friends,
Karan, tell me something. These days, entrepreneurial spirit is so high. People are venturing on their own and stuff like that. So, at when you do something like that, you become a leader very early on.
correct,
Like at the age of 21, 22, even 18, 17, or
correct.
25 that you are now, you are leading teams already. So, what is your leadership journey like, and what are your learnings like? How do you, because see, when you become a leader after a certain experience, you have
Correct.
learned things along the
Correct,
way,
correct.
and people skills and management skills and money management and distribution and a lot of other skills that you acquire on the way. But when you start out so young and you already have people, those report to you, you have a big team, what is your leadership style?
See, so one thing that I have followed over the years is that cracking people is not rocket science. And I think I have not lied to any employee saying कि हम लोग एक family है, because if you try telling them we're a family and everything, it's not right for them, right? You have to be very transparent about the way you are, the way the values of the company are, and the way you want to see it grow, and the way they can also grow with the company, right? So even on my day one of like anyone, let's just say there's a new hire or anything, right? I will spend 2 3 hours with them in trying to understand them as a person. What have they done as a person, and what do they aim to do, and what are their goals in life. That's very important. For example, if let's just say if I hire you, and let's just say you're an intern. If you tell me that you want to start your own company in 3 years, okay, that's your timeline. If even if you're working for me, I will help you in a way where you end up reaching those goals for yourself in 3 years. Like, I will probably give you more leads in terms of making presentations, you going out there and pitching to more brands, for example, and everything. So I'll give you more of macro related things there, because I know that okay, that's where you want to head. And you'll also do it in a very happier way, because you will be like, okay, this is more relevant for who I want to be, right? Of course, your goals might change completely, where you might be like, yeah, I don't want
The
to.
traditional style of leadership and now the leadership has changed a lot.
A
Like
lot.
what you are saying right now is, I think, the opposite of how it used to happen traditionally. If you know that someone's going to leave me in an year, 2 years, or whatever, you would not
You
even
stop
probably hire.
investing.
You stop investing in them. You
Yeah,
would probably not hire them, or you'd probably not care for them as much. And now
correct.
that you're seeing, you'll help them reach
Correct,
towards
correct,
their
correct,
goal, which is just incredible.
correct. Also, like when you do help someone, right?
But
Like,
do you not have an insecurity of them?
uh, we technically do, but then I always look at the bigger picture there, thinking, Karan, if something in life has helped you reach, or you grow till here, why not give it back to the people, right? Because it's very important. If I
So
be
there's always
selfish,
going to be this little voice in your head that's going to tell
yeah,
you that, go the
thousand
selfish way,
percent,
that's the
yeah,
right way,
yeah, yeah,
and that
yeah.
has worked for years for
Correct.
everyone and stuff. But when you want to do anything that is different from that way, you have to make an effort for that, a
Thousand
conscious
percent.
effort.
And I mean, I've had people who've technically, like even full timers, who've told us, we have 6 months to work in the company. I think a very old way, or old traditional way would be like, 6 months mein ja raha hai, to like, like let's just start reducing the work and everything, right? For me as a person, it's opposite. Like I kind of like talk it out with the person to like understand if they're quitting, that why are they quitting, and what is it that they don't like and everything. Could be studies, could be anything, right? All of that. But one very important thing is that if you help someone normally, and it's not with the intention of helping ki they'll come back help you. It's not ki matlab I help you today and all of that. It's just it's with a very clear cut point where if, for example, I've helped you grow from a level 1 to a level 5. When you reach a level 10 in life, right, you'll come back to me with a lot more happiness. I will see more confidence in you and everything, and that's the right thing to do. If you're not helping someone else grow, you will not learn. And like in a way, even I'm probably learning from you, right? Because of course, if you stop learning at any age, that's the last thing that you should do. You should always, like, I think even when I'm 100 years old, probably I would still want to learn things from people around me, because that's how
Absolutely.
things need to be and everything.
That is how I have also changed in the years, because earlier when I used to get someone work for me and I would know that they would work for only 6 months or so, I would not get attached, I would
Correct.
not get involved, and I'd be like, I would not even give them the whole of the work because I don't want to be dependent. So I would be supervising everything, like literally,
Correct.
and it would be as good as not having anyone. The only way they're gonna
Correct.
stick to you is when you contribute to them, and
Correct.
not looking from a perspective of, okay, when he's gonna go big and then they're gonna come back to me. All of that happens,
That's very
kindness.
secondary, very
Yeah,
honestly.
that's a very secondary thing, and you don't even know whether 5 years down the line you'd be doing the same thing or
Correct.
not.
Exactly.
How
Exactly.
do you expect someone to come back after 10 years and contribute to your whatever you're doing right now? Like, I don't know what I'm going to be doing 5 years down the line, right?
Correct.
So the only intent is to just come from a place of contribution, come from a place of sharing your experience and knowledge, whatever you've acquired over the way, to help someone maybe ease out their path in some way, if at all you
Yeah.
can. And I think leave it at that. So
Yeah.
that leadership style, I also vouch for it now.
Yeah. And
Yes.
I think one very important thing that I mean we also do is that we kind of involve one person in multiple tasks. Like let's just say if I give you a designation of social media manager, right? We will not restrict you to just like one thing, right? Just because you've come in the company, of course, and everything. And if you made it very clear, chalo, then if you don't want to do something else, we will not, like, we're not going to push you out of your boundaries, right? Because that's not right, of course. But we just give the option of everyone to, like, okay, do you want to try sales one day? Do you want to be part of the call? Do you want to see how the other team works? Because I think even in terms of understanding everyone's work, you'll only know what your coworkers doing when you know the way they're doing it, right? And you might have greater ideas for them, because when you don't end up teaching them something that you know, they might not teach you something that you know, right? And all of that. And one very important thing is that we also identify number twos. I can't have a company where every 1 year, 6 months, or 2 years down the lane, I'm doing the same thing, right? I create the culture in such a way where tomorrow, if you're let's just say you're with us for 5 years, okay, we'll have such a smooth exit for you where we'll have a number two for you
Number
where
two for
let's
you.
just say even if you are not there for 6 months, you're not there for a year, you've gone for studies and all of that, or you've gone well, you've left the company. We'll have someone else in the company who'll know your job so well that when you leave tomorrow, if like
It doesn't impact
it
as
doesn't
much.
impact anything. It doesn't even impact the clients that are serving to us saying, ki, "Oh my God, ye kyun chale gaya?" They will even know the other person because the other person knows what your job is, right? Of course, it's not very applicable if you don't want to learn it all. There are people who come with their own grumpiness and everything, right? Like for example, back in the old company, um, we made our delivery guy a sales guy during COVID because of course grocery stores in Bombay were not opening, like they were not open for the whole day, right? They were open for a couple of hours and only home delivery was allowed and stuff, right? So to check the stock of the company at in the freezer and everything, we just upgraded his post saying कि we told him we'll pay you this much extra only if you want to do it. तेरे working hours थोड़े बढ़ सकते हैं because of course COVID है and if police stops you and everything, you show your ID. Like we were legally doing it. There was nothing illegal happening there. Because of course stepping out was illegal back then, right? So we just told him कि if you think you're not presentable because that insecurity comes from within saying मैं तो delivery वाला हूँ मैं कैसे sales कर सकता हूँ and all right. So we took steps to give him confidence कि like okay तू dressing up के लिए for example if he just said सर मेरे पास कपड़े नहीं है मेरे पास जूते वैसे नहीं है and all of that. So we gave him with all of that obviously. And then we told him कि okay language wise अगर तुझे नहीं आता तू हिंदी में बात करना like there's nothing wrong in talking any language first of all. Like if you want to talk in Marathi also talk in Marathi, talk in Gujarati, talk as long as the other person understands what you're saying is what I would say, right?
That's the whole purpose of communication,
Exactly. So
right?
communication could be people communicate with sign languages as well, of course, So communication is everywhere. So we just made sure that we teach him how to talk. We teach him कि अच्छा stock count कैसे करते हैं, like, and also like something that we feel is right might not be understood right by the other person, right? Like I'll just give a very small example. I was talking to the CEO of Pizza Hut Singapore like exactly a month back. So he told me when they started deliveries in Singapore with Pizza Hut through a third party company, right? Like through an aggregator, they were delivering the box essay, Sida, because they're used to holding it Sida, right? It wasn't like flat. And pizzas can't be delivered
Delivered
straight,
like
right?
that,
So,
correct.
I mean, it was such a small example where he said that something that you think is smart enough, the other person might not know.
Might not know.
They've not gone through it, right? So, same example is what I'm trying to put here. Like something that we think is right in our head, the other person might not know. So just train them. It won't take long, right? And it's just communication and stuff. And we've helped him grow so much where his confidence has gone up so much where now you tell him to sell anything, he will go and sell anything for you. You tell him to sell a
Yeah.
pen, he'll sell a pen for you and everything, right? So that did take us some time, but we did it. And he's also like in the old company, he's the oldest employee now because he stayed for that long. And he got offers in between saying, "Sir, मेरे को salary double मिल रहा है इधर," and all of that. And you need to understand what is someone's goal in life. कि उनको पैसा कमाना है, do they want to work 24 hours a day and just earn money? Because a lot of people want to do that, right? They all have the different goals and aims.
Are
See,
you able
there's
to balance your life right now? Because I know you're working some 12, 14 hours a day still.
yeah, I kind of am able to with the right people around me right now, of course.
Take me through
And
your day. What do you do to
uh,
balance it out? What is your personal
so
life versus
yeah,
professional life
so
balance?
being 26 years old, I get judged a lot when I tell my friends that I sleep at 10:30 because it's a very कि Karan तू तो बूढ़ा हो गया वाला age is what they call it. That's what they call it.
Please don't take that input. Ignore it completely.
But
Sleep at
this
10.
is 99% of my friends. If I and a lot of my friends, right? If I send them a good morning at 5, so I wake up at 5:30 in the morning because I work out at 6:30 depending on the slot and everything, right? My message to them which goes in the morning and they were like तू अभी सोया है क्या? And they all think that I'm depressed. They're like Karan, are you fine? तेरे को नींद क्यों नहीं आ रही? I'm like no, I'm living a very happy healthy life right now because I do yoga in the morning. Like alternate days, of course, it's either yoga or it's workouts or it's cycling and everything, right? So all of that happens, and then I get free by like 8:39 ish. Uh, I rush to the office, which is near Tardeo right now, which is 1 hour travel for me, right, and stuff. So that happens. The office work, of course, happens throughout the day, everything, and lunch happens, and again a lot of work happens because I'll keep bringing the word work up a lot. And then evening, I end up eating boiled eggs because it's a little healthier than eating chaat and samosa, which my other team eats. My tech team is a huge fan of eating junk food. Like they eat biryanis and they eat pizzas every day and stuff. And I can't because my body just rejects all of that right now. They're like, my body's just like, can't be healthy to think healthy, right? So that's how I take it. And then, yeah, I mean, all of that happens and I get done by 7:38 and then I again travel back 1 hour and stuff, reach home by 9:30, eat dinner, and I pass out. That's it. Of course, weekends that gets pulled a little because then I push my workouts to a 10 a.m. or something and stuff.
But you make sure you work out even during the weekends.
I do. I have a rest day which could either be a Monday or a Wednesday, but I only have like one rest day unless I'm injured or I'm not well and stuff. But I know that if my early morning and my mental health is not right, I can't think straight at office. And I think other people also notice it when I, the way I talk, the way I do a given task, or the way I talk to a client, or the way I talk to an investor. They all understand, that I mean, and also these people come back saying, Karan, are you fine? And stuff.
I think after a point, you don't only bring to the table what you are in terms of your qualifications, your experience, and all of that. You also bring who you are.
1000%.
And that adds on to
Correct.
the kind of inspiration people seek from you, the kind of leadership that you invoke in them, and that number two culture. All of that happens, I think, when they see that.
Correct. And if you're generally not mentally stable or mentally happy, right? There's nothing that you can achieve in the world. And I think like we were discussing earlier as well, right? You know, to be physically fit, of course, you do need a trainer, a coach, right? But to be mentally fit, no one is out there really, like doing things that would make them do the right things. And also for me, it's taken me, I think, more than 5-6 years to understand myself. And I don't know if it's a very early age or a late age for me. I've not gone out there and discussed this because it's not a topic of discussion. A lot of
But
people.
how did you understand yourself when you say self-awareness? How did it come to you?
So I started understanding why do I get angry? Why do I get all anxious? Why do I get
What is the
nervous?
exercise that you do? Do you write it down? Do you sit back
Uh,
and just reflect upon what is your way?
I think I just sit down and I have these strikes in my head. You know, there's these red flags in your head, right? So I have multiple situations in my head that I kind of go back and I assess. Like, if let's just say if I do something and I think it's wrong, I end up going back to that, like that blackboard in my head, and I write things down there in my head saying, Karan, you've done this before, it's happened again. Right? It could be something as bad as behavior also, in terms of, me not behaving nice with someone who I've met, me not behaving good with a friend, me not living up to the
Keeping your
expectation.
word or
Exactly,
whatever.
anything, thousands of things, right? And only after you know the reaction is when you learn things. I mean, see, you could like, and I think we all come from generations where our parents will tell us what to do in a way where they'll tell you, "Ki Karan, ye galat hai, don't do it." I'll still do it because I want to do it wrong the my way, right? That's how things, they end up leaving a scar on your face or in your head, right, and all of that. So that's how things have been for me in terms of understanding, is that I go back to that blackboard in my head and I understand, okay, why is it that, for example, why did my ex-girlfriend break up with me? Stuff like that, right? And like for example, it could be like, we were dating for 1 year, what happened? Why does she keep telling me that I don't communicate enough, or why do I not talk enough, or why am I not I don't know, loving enough? It could be any reason, right? So when you understand these things is when you understand yourself and stuff. And you have to break down different segments, is how I look at it. Like, it could be in terms of why was I not good in studies? That's one topic. Why am I not good to this one coworker in the office? Is it because of them being grumpy, or is it me having
My
a hard?
insecurities projecting on them.
Exactly. So it's multiple things that you need to like figure out for yourself and all of that, and also be very genuine to yourself. Because I remember I used to be a very manipulative person. Like I knew कि अच्छा मेरे को झूठ बोलना है, मेरे को उल्लू बनाना है,
तीन
तो
सौ
मैं
का फोन के साथ 1,000 में
वो
बेचने का
वो
है.
तो सेल्स था, वो
हाँ,
वो धंधा था,
वो
so I'm not
धंधा
gonna
था.
mix emotions with
With
business,
the
of
business.
course. But I mean, so stuff like that where I would just lie a lot, like genuinely. I would, even in childhood, I would lie a lot about, like, if I've bunked a class, for example, like small lies, I'm not saying big lies. If I've lied a lot, then it would just be for a lie as small as, why was I not at the tuition in the evening? Because I was playing football. I would just say I was.
I'm going to send this interview to all your
My mom will be the first one
investors.
watching it also.
Yeah, your
I'm
mom
not
to is
kidding.
okay, but all your investors
And
also.
one of the biggest lies which I've actually done, like I really wanted to buy an iPhone, like that was an iPhone 6s. So I lied to my dad. This is the first time anyone in my family would also know this. I got an iPhone 6s. I lied to my dad about a business conference because I wanted to buy an iPhone.
You took the money to attend a
I took
business
the money. I
conference.
took the
Oh
money.
my God.
I went for the business conference just for free, but the cost was 70K. I told him that I'm paying for the conference via Flipkart. I took the no cost EMI, and I got the phone on EMI on
Wow.
the phone, and I obviously begged him for a week and everything. I remember I was very nice to him also. Ki, like dad's come home, so let me tell Didi to make chai for him because I couldn't make chai and everything. So I bought an iPhone then, and yeah, and then I was like, that's the last time I'm lying to my dad. I tried the same. I mean, no, I think it wasn't last time. I tried buying an Apple Watch. Uske baad from dad saying, ki, dad, I'm buying a watch for you. So I thought I'll buy him a cheaper watch. I'll buy myself an Apple Watch, but transact it in the same thing, right? So I didn't do it because he kind of caught me. He just said, ki, why was there a 32,000 ka transaction on my card last night? So I was like, I'm buying you a watch. And I'm like, oh, and it was 2 a.m. ka transaction. So I was like, oh, I must have not seen the cost. I probably forgot the last digit and stuff. So he like, okay, cancel it. So I almost got caught, but I didn't.
You,
So yeah, sorry
you.
mom, sorry dad, from whatever camera angles you're seeing this. So yeah, I mean yeah. So coming back, being manipulative and being very good at lying is the first step for me to ruin myself, is what I would call it. Because then it becomes a habit. You just think that you're smarter than everyone in the room and stuff, but in reality you're not. Like, you're just fooling yourself and you have nothing to grow out of it. Like, it's just a dead end for you and stuff.
It's not like that you can be a liar at X place in your life, and Y place you will be honest. At Y place also, when you hit a juncture, you will
Correct,
switch to
correct,
being a liar.
correct,
So
correct,
because it,
correct.
it goes with you. You cannot just be selectively a liar,
You can't.
or you can't selectively be angry or rude or unkind or whatever. If you are unkind, you are unkind. It's just that in
Correct,
the other situation, maybe it hasn't presented itself in a way where you have an opportunity to be unkind, but
correct.
you are unkind. So when we understand this, I think that's when you realize that, oh no, we say na itna hi to main unkind, ek hi baar to main, but that is there
It's
in
a
you.
repetitive behavior.
Yeah, it is a right. So I think that's where we need to like put
Yeah.
in more and more self work to understand that, because I've also been doing a lot of self work, and it's always a work in progress, right? So these harmless lies, even I have done it, although however much honest a person I am and stuff, but I have also done all of this, and then only through the self work you
Yeah.
realize that, no, you tell yourself this, dono main to isi mein karta hu, I'm a good person, but no, you cannot selectively be a
Exactly,
liar,
exactly.
and then it comes to bite you,
Yeah.
and yeah,
And
yeah,
when it
and
does, it
you
just
can't
does.
handle it, and that's when you seep through a very very negative.
Then you end up, and also like to cover a lie, you need like 1,000 more lies. So like it's just an entire process and cycle and stuff. So it's very honest. I mean, it's very important to be very honest with yourself, because even at work, for example, I've had employees where they would work for like 1 2 hours a day out of like, let's say 6 7 working hours and everything, and we knew it. Like, we identified कि अरे ये बंदा काम नहीं कर रहा है, whatever, right? Now you can't go upfront and tell them saying you're on Instagram the whole day, right? You have to figure out ways in terms of understanding why they're doing it first. It's more of understanding behavior, because um, everyone has a very legitimate reason to be the way they are, right? Like, your upbringing has been way different. You've gone through different happiness, sadness factors in life. I've gone through different happiness and sadness, right? So if I'm going to be selfish in understanding and trying to put my rules or my learnings on your brain, it's not going to work out. I have to be very empathetic in terms of understanding, okay, why are you doing what you're doing and stuff, right? And if I don't, then it's just going to be burning bridges with you. It's just going to be a very ugly situation where you will not be happy as an employee. I will not be happy as an employer, right? So to understand that, it's very, very, very important from day one. And it doesn't have to be fake. It's not key for the namesake of it, of for me trying to understand and make you feel comfortable. Also, like, I've seen this in workplaces where you have to make sure that the other person is not out of their comfort zone in expressing yourself, right? Because I have gone through where a lot of male employees have hit on a female employee and stuff in the office, which is not right, of course, and the other person was very uncomfortable and stuff, and we had to fire the guy, obviously, right? Because it was not a healthy thing in the company and stuff. But there's not a very big line in terms of making someone feel uncomfortable and making them feel uncomfortable, right? Like, if I'm trying to get to know you, it has to be for the right things, not for me to like try to do the wrong things or have the wrong intentions and stuff. And of course, everyone, I would say, has gone through something so scarish or something so bad in life that a very old memory of yours can trigger you again.
See, we all, like you said, that for us, definition of happiness, sadness, whatever we've gone through could be different. That's our outer world. We all lead a very different life in the outer
Correct.
world. Like, whatever your life looks right now in the outer world, your day looks like, your habits, your friend circle, your relationships, whatever XYZ that may be for you, it's completely different for me.
Correct.
My outer world looks completely different, but our
Correct.
inner worlds, where this empathy, self work, communicating in a
Yeah.
manner that you end up hitting the right nerves, coming from a place of kindness and compassion, all of that is the inner world thing. And as long as you have that understanding of your own inner world, I think that's where when you start talking and communicating to people,
Correct.
even in your business, it translates into more, I think, fruitful transactions
Yeah.
work wise as well.
Yeah. I think one more thing I would like to add, like, when people do take therapy, a lot of them do it through friends and family, right? I genuinely don't agree to it till a point. Of course, I haven't gone for therapy myself because for me, therapy was a word that I kind of discovered like 2 years back when someone came and told me. Because I think we look at the word therapy as कि कि कोई therapy जा रहा है तो hospital जा रहा है, right? Like it's not taken in a very positive way and stuff. But we need to understand what the other person's needs are, and of course, your friends and family are not trained enough. It's like I think it would be as simple as I remember doing this thing where I was watching cricket with my chacha, and when Virat Kohli got out, my chacha was ऐसे abusing, saying, "इसको खेलना नहीं आता क्या?" And I was like, "Hey, chacha, you've been unemployed from the past 4 years. Who are you to comment on Virat Kohli who's playing cricket, right?" So we are surrounded by people who love us and stuff, but they will not bring out the best of you, right? So you need someone who's really trained, someone who really knows how to take care of you and stuff. And therapy is not about you take care of me, I'll take care of you, right? It's about I'll take care of me for you, you take care of yourself for me. That's how things are, and that's how you become more independent and more strong as well. And I also believe in, like, I mean, I follow stoicism partially. I will not say like completely, right? Because a lot of
It's one of the less popular isms,
yeah,
is
exactly.
what we were talking. Like
Yeah,
Buddhism
yeah,
is
yeah.
quite popular,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. So I follow till a point where I mean I've kind of like changed the rules a bit for myself, not because I couldn't follow all of it, but for me I believe that happiness for me lies within, and I'm not like relying on anything external as such for me being happy, of course, and that also goes for like something that I win as an award, or if let's just say if something goes wrong, I know that I have a plan B in my head to make it work for myself. Because we live in a very fast world, is what I would say. And with exposure to more and more of devices and gadgets and stuff, our interaction with people has actually reduced so much, right? Like, and I also use the word like a lot. I don't use the word entrepreneurs anymore. I use the word screenpreneurs because we live
that's
in
the
a world
reality.
where people, they spend 13, 14 hours behind a screen and not like amongst each other, right? And stuff, and interaction only happens when there's a club night or there's something big that's happening. Like I have friends who step out like once in 6 months and stuff. Other than that, they're in their own bubble, so yeah.
I think we really need one of the anchors in our lives that sort of brings us down from whatever else that we do in
Correct,
this world.
correct,
So I think for you, that could be Stoicism. For somebody, it could be Buddhism. For somebody, it could be spirituality.
correct.
And growing up as a generation, we have grown up thinking that all of this is not cool. Because for most of us, all of this was basically related to or very strongly mixed with a religion factor.
Correct, correct.
For me, my mother is spiritual because she is religious. That was the idea behind it. So very late in my life, I could figure out that this is a different path, this is a different path.
Correct,
You
correct,
could
yeah.
walk on both, you could walk on one, whatever. That's the choice that you make. Whatever
Yeah.
grounds you, brings you peace at the end of the day. I think we all need one of those things. And I read this beautiful book, 365 Daily Stoic or something by Ryan Holiday. Beautiful, beautiful book. And that's when I got to know about Stoicism. So it's not a
Yeah.
very popular ism. Not many people know about it when you mention
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
name, but it's beautiful. I
And
think the concepts.
I also very accidentally, sorry, I cut you off. I also very accidentally came across that I'm following it because I had these sets of rules in my head. And I'm also like a very play by the book guy. Like, like if something is set in my head, and I'm very calculative, where I know what I'm probably like, what time do I have to eat next, what time, or where am I traveling next. Like my calendar is blocked with things, right? And stuff. So in my head, I know that if I'm not calculating it right, and if something goes wrong, of course, which is not because of me, then I need to know how, like I need to have a way where I can calm and cool myself down, right? And stuff. So it's very important.
So all of this, I have read a few books, and I've done few courses as well. So Bhagavad Gita, Stoicism, Buddhism. At
Wow.
the end of the day, all of them are bringing you back to self-awareness.
Correct.
So the whole journey is coming within. Like that's how I've named this podcast also,
Yeah.
the journey within. So
Yeah.
it's all about taking all of this in our outer world, living with all of this, engaging with all of this, wanting the best of the things and all of that. That's the world that we live in, right? Doing all of that, still walking back within yourselves to your
Yeah.
inner world, and just know that what you feel and how you feel it, and how can you sort of handle emotions when they become a little more
They
aggressive, or
burst.
they, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and they do time and again for all of us. So that's also one of the ideas to bring forward with through your story and through the people's stories, that this is
Correct.
very common and that's the world that we live in. But the whole art of mastering your own inner world through your emotions, through your reactions, behaviors, patterns, habits, etc., is something that we really need to make a walk towards.
Correct.
Karan, tell me one thing. You've been doing a lot of self work, and you're a self aware person, and all of that. What is it that makes you feel insecure?
I think I have multiple things that make me insecure. I think a major thing of that would be relationships, because I was with someone in 2018 last, which was
It's been
donkey years.
4 years. You've been single.
Yeah, 4 years.
Shout out to all the females
I don't know,
watching this
it's been four
podcast.
years.
Karan is 26-year-old, 6 feet 1 inches, 2 inches.
6'2".
Yeah, 6'2". He's 6'2". I know that because I'm tall. I hardly see tall guys. 6'2", fair, Sharma boy. What is Sharma? Sharma's a Pandit, and he's an entrepreneur. Makes a lot of money to live in Oshiwara, I'm assuming.
I live in Vilepale now because
Vile Parle, okay,
it's
but he's lived in Oshiwara, so makes reasonably okay. Money is what I can tell you, and bright kid, and yeah.
yeah.
So
I
I've
think I
done
can
the
flex because
plug-in.
I was living in Juhu last year, so I was a Juhu boy,
Doesn't
but I
shy away
lost the
from
tag.
flexing also time and
But
again.
but my Juhu tag went away when my flatmate and I had to move out from Juhu to like Vilepale because our owner was like कि COVID खत्म हो गया है, you
बस
pay
निकलो
us
अब.
तुम 30,000 ज़्यादा भरो. So I said kidney हमारी एक ही है, we can't afford your rent for one more year because you're increasing it by $30,000
Yeah.
and stuff. So we had to say goodbye to him, of course. But yeah.
So that is
But
Karan's
yeah, insecurities, I
advertisement.
would just say relationships, and very, very, very funny thing again. It's not something that's known to people at all. So the last girl that I dated, we dated for almost a year, and
This was before 2018? No. This is
2017, we broke up
17
in
to 18.
2018.
Yeah, okay.
Very stupid for a kid to do it because 4 years back I was what 21, 22, somewhere there, right? I asked her out on a stage in front of 200 people. So that was a very, very, very grand thing that I did, which is very stupid. Again, I learned things from that, but she was someone I was chasing for like 1 year. Like, I met her very accidentally through a friend. And so yeah, I asked her in front of 200 people.
Wow.
That too at a gig which was from an artist called Anand Bhaskar Collective. I don't know if you heard of them, but great music. Just not
Yeah.
giving them a shout out, but I really love them.
We can give them a shout out. I promote art,
love,
artists,
Anand
everyone.
Bhaskar Collective.
Anybody who
Please
does
go
good
out there and
work.
listen to the music.
Yeah.
And the next time I met Anand later, like post COVID, I went for 2 of his gigs in Anand. Every time it's just been like, "Teri ye wo wali to nahi hai." That's how he talks to me because I've known him, and it was very weird where I didn't know who he is. It wasn't like he was a friend and I
But
messaged
he
him on
knew you
Instagram.
through your grand gesture that you did that.
Yeah. So
This is
so
that guy.
I DM'd him on
ये
Instagram.
तू आज पिंक
on
टी शर्ट पहना है,
Facebook.
तू आज फिर से करने वाला है कांड आज तू.
He taunts me also, and in fact, it's a very funny thing because that gig I just told him ki, hey Anand, and I added him on Facebook in the morning because his gig was in the evening. So I'm like, I already bought the ticket and everything. So I'm like, how do I convince him? I just wrote ki, hey Anand, big fan and everything, which I was. It's not like he was a random artist for me, right?
Yeah.
So I was just like, can you dedicate a song and all that? So he like, you wanna ask a girl out? Yeah, I'm like, yeah. He like, how old are you? So I faked my age to him, said to make it sound like I'm elder, like I'm not doing some kiddish Gen Z teenage stuff, right?
Yeah. But you were.
I was. So I did that, and also Anand was. I don't know if I can abuse, but like Anand was is what I would call. You can blur out the word if that's okay. Because I told him that I'll be there pehle, so to first गाने पे ही do it because there won't be a lot of people. There will वो vibe नहीं set हुआ होगा everything, right? People won't be drunk, and also I can breathe.
What did you tell us your age?
I told him I was 25 then.
See, Anand was not wrong on his part. He thought you're proposing someone for marriage or
That's
something.
what I'm saying.
That's
Anand
what.
doesn't know this.
So you should.
He didn't know this only.
So there was only one blurred word.
Yeah, there was
and
only
that's
one
you.
blurred thing. Yeah. And very, very, very. and it was also getting telecast on TV. I don't know, there was some sponsor that night. TV पर आता रहे. So Anand
Oh my
also again
God.
being the beep is what I would call it. He sang that song as a last song. And I told him,
Room full of people
a
and
room
all
full of
of
people were drunk, couples were swaying, and couple were all cuddly and everything. And I obviously bacha tha, right? All of that. So, and I'm sweating. I'm so nervous. I was like, this is really bad. And I was like, घर चलते हैं. And I'm like, let him ask. देखी जाएगी. I'll tell him मैं आया ही नहीं था. And all of that. So his song, this second last song, it's over. And I'm also texting. I mean, obviously, he won't check his phone, but I was just texting him on Facebook saying, "Ki bhai, kya kar raha hai? I'm nervous. I'm sweating." And that girl's asking me, ki, Karan, are you fine? Do you want to go to hospital and stuff? And I'm sweating like a pig. And I've come after office, so I look like one corporate boy. Like, I actually came in like proper corporate clothes and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Then he just said, there's a special request for Karan and the girl. And then he called us on stage. And she was like, what is happening?
But you didn't do Karan who?
Yeah, I
It's
was
not
also,
me, for sure. You
I
could have
wish
done
I did that. And I think there's one more Karan, and he also raised his hand, and I'm like, bro, I'll slap you there only because I'm like, what is this?
I've been planning this gig since
I've been
morning.
planning. I've lost some
I've
10
sweat
kilo
2
of
buckets,
yeah.
yeah.
I've lost 10 kilos of water from my body and stuff. That happened, and then I mean, yeah. So we went on stage, and there was a mic, and this was coming on TV, right? Now the girl also obviously she was all like, I don't know, मतलब मजाक लगा था सबको यार ऐसे मैं मेरी तो फटी पड़ी है उधर. I'm doing everything, and then she got the mic, and she like हाँ बोलूँ कि ना.
Oh my
And,
God.
and she doing it to the audience. I'm like, this is not some rock on ka shoot. This is not Farhan Akhtar doing something.
It became a gig of its own.
Yeah. And Anand was beside me, and I just looked at Anand. I'm like, bro, if
तू
she says,
25 तो नहीं है यार.
and I was like, Anand, I was like, Anand, bhai, if she says no, like, I have a backup song, don't worry. And I was like, bro, if you even and I'm standing like this. I'm standing like this with fingers crossed. Obviously, I was like,
At
some,
what time in the night this whole natak is
yeah,
happening?
10:30, 11.
Yeah, 11.
And people are drunk and people are ऐसे shouting कि ये so cute and all that. She obviously said yes. I mean, not obviously, but she had to.
Obviously.
She obviously said yes because that's
I
why.
like how you flex. I think that's something that
She
I
did
need to
that.
learn from your generation.
And this was live on TV and on Facebook. This thing. It was on First Post. If you know First Post.
I know. Of course I know.
It was on First Post. I
My
just
God.
remembered.
Guy proposes to girl in the middle of whatever. One of those
Failed
ones,
proposal.
yeah.
All of that happened, and then everyone's just shouting kiss, 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 and I'm like, guys, not happening. I'm like, her mom will throw chappal. Her mom will call
I
the
am
cops on me right
21,
now.
I'm 20.
Yeah, and she was 2 years younger than me, so I'm like, she's 20, I'm 22. Her mom will throw chappal at both of us and everything. And I've lied to Anand about the age and everything, but then yeah, things went very smoothly.
Yeah. But then how soon after that did you break up?
1 year.
1 year. Oh, that
1 year
was
was
just
not
right in
that
the beginning.
much.
Yeah.
ठीक है,
Are you guys
चलता
still in touch?
है. On and off, she's in Canada, but like, we only wish.
So are you a person who burns bridges or who keeps the...
So I believe in this thing with relationships very specific that if I'm dating someone, I don't talk to any of my exes for I call it as a security and the safe locker that she shouldn't get insecure of my past, right? Like, and I have a lot of friends who are like, my ex is my best friend and I'm dating a new guy. I don't know how it works for them, but for me, though, it doesn't. I'm not saying insecurities kick in, but I just think that if you had something comfortable with someone in the past, it's very different. And I've also had people who just jump sides. They're dating someone and they're like 6 minutes baad saying, I miss my ex and I'm back with my ex. ये very Gen Z wali cheez hai. I don't know if it happened in your thing, but
How old do you think I am?
Wait, has it happened to you? Tell me that first.
I dated one guy, married him, dated for 6 years, married him, then got divorced. And I don't know the word beyond that.
You'll explore that side, don't worry.
I don't want to. I don't wish to. The way you make it sound. Please
But
God
yeah,
save
but
me.
yeah, there have been also my ex, the same girl. I mean, I liked her so much. Like, वो love at first sight actually जो होता है. She was dating a guy for 5 years. She was dating him for 5 years. I
She was
poached her.
then also dating him.
No.
When she came on a date with you. मतलब हाँ,
वो आ जाता
exactly.
बंदा गुंडे वुंडे लेके. But I would say poached. We use the word poaching and hiding that. I poached her from his life and I got her in my life after that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, कि चलो great.
But you've been single for 4 years and 2.5 years of that was COVID. So how do you cope up with, do you get lonely first of all? I know you work a lot, but I don't think you need like many hours in a day to feel lonely. You can feel lonely even in 10 minutes, and it could be
Yeah, I can
completely
feel
intense and it could
lonely
hit
while
you in
traveling
place.
also, like if I have to, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But I have very luckily surrounded myself with such great friends and such people, right? That if I ever need something, someone to talk to, of course not therapy while I'm talking because
Hmm.
that's very different.
Hmm.
But someone to talk about my day or anything, right?
So,
I have wonderful people, and even though that I miss home in Bombay, I've had friends' houses who I just go to. Like I just like randomly tell them saying I'm coming to your house for dinner and everything. And in fact, every Sunday after my gym session, I go to my best friend Roshni's house, and she lives in the US. She's married and everything. She's my age. Her mom, her dad, and her brother and her bhabhi, they all stay in the same house. So every Sunday, I go to the house to have like a nice English breakfast and stuff. Like I
wow.
have sausages and mashed potatoes and grilled chicken and
How
everything.
lucky of you.
Very lucky.
I think I'm staying here till Sunday. Tomorrow's Sunday, right?
Tomorrow Sunday.
Yes, so
You have
brunch is
to, but
happening
aunties
where?
told me very strictly saying, Karan, you have to work out and you have to come sweaty to the house when you know you've burned the calories to actually deserve that breakfast.
Yeah, and you're
Just
only bringing a girl who you're dating, right? Not any random
no, no,
person to
it's
my house,
no,
no?
no. I've taken my friends to the house also,
Yeah.
saying कि आंटी ये भी bachelor है, इसको भी भूख लग रही है, I've just got
इसको
him,
भी खिला दो
इसको
आज.
भी खिला दो, आंटी butter chicken बना रहे, butter chicken खा लेते हैं,
क्या
and
बात है.
everything. So yeah.
Tell me one more thing, Karan. This whole entrepreneurial journey teaches you a lot of things, okay? So, how much this journey has made you a self-aware person? What is the contribution of this journey to you becoming a more self-aware person?
I think only when you realize that you're learning something from every journey, right, is when you actually start implementing it. And I had, like I've told you, like over the journey also of our talk right now, that I've learned multiple things from the stupidest things around.
What are the top three things that you have learned about yourself because of being an entrepreneur? Because it's a journey mix of a lot of failures, some success, a lot of failures, a lot of success, and all of that, right? So, what are the top three things if you have to put
So
a pin?
the top three things for me is that be nice to everyone, uh, be a very big people person because of course it's very different when you're introvertish, but of course even introverts have their set of people, and I am very happy to be a part of. For example, I'm sure like if you have let's say five best friends, right? You would be in the top three phone contacts, right? I would be that top three for 50 people. That's how I've kept myself from the start and stuff. So I would just say, coming back, I would just say be a very good people person and trying to understand and everything. And if something goes wrong along someone's lives, do not judge them, right? Everyone has made mistakes, and there's no like scale of mistakes, right? A mistake is a mistake. You could have had a scale 100 mistake, and I would have had a scale 10. I'm not going to compare there saying कि हाँ मेरे साथ भी हुआ था. And one thing is just learn to hear people out. If you don't, then no one's going to give you their time. Because if you don't understand what they want to say,
And how much of it happens because you want others to impress or to work with you? How much of it happens because you are doing it for yourself because it makes you feel in a certain way?
I do it very naturally, very honestly. Like if I do it with an intention, तो कुछ नहीं आने वाला. Like it's the only things I have with an intention in life is कि मेरे को घर खरीदना है, गाड़ी खरीदना है, and I want to be happy. That's with an intention. Everything else that I do is like, okay, let me do it. If something comes along the way, it comes along. If it doesn't, then it doesn't come along the way. Also, then my disappointments decrease, right? Like if I have to, I don't know, like if I have to, let's say if I have to take an investor out for dinner and I expect that I'm going to get a check at the end of the dinner, and I don't get it, I'm going to be sad. I'm going to be depressed, right? If I just go with an intention thing, I just want to know the person. I want to understand what kind of portfolios. I mean, of course, I'll know that because getting an investor is like getting someone in bed with you, right? Like it's a marriage for someone and stuff.
Absolutely.
Is how I look at it. So it's to understand the other person, and yeah, that's about it.
So, what are the top three tips that you'd like to give to the younger
Generation.
generation? Although you are quite young yourself, but the entrepreneurs who are
Yeah.
flourishing now, who are looking out to go to investors, making their presentations and things like that. One of them would be me also. So you're talking to you
One thing,
to a
one thing. I think
generation
first
before
thing
you
would
as
be that
well.
don't stop chasing. People are busy. Of course, don't uh, irritate someone so much that they also like get really troubled with you. And even at Wild right now, I mean, Dishant, who's one of the co-founders, he has shown me chats of more than 100 investors before they actually got an investor on board, right? He's shown me like these typical cold calls and cold messages and stuff. So don't give up on your dreams because other people have not given you the time, and people are genuinely busy. Like I'm not going to say that someone.
This is so different from the kind of advice that I have grown up with, because the kind of advice that I've grown up with is that you don't disturb someone the second
It's
time.
opposite for
It's
us
just
right now.
how much the world has changed and how much
Yeah.
do we have to sort of align ourselves and it's constantly changing. It's not that it has changed and
Yeah.
this has become the fixed way of living.
Yeah.
It's going to change again after 5 years.
I'm sure it's
You know.
already changed also. You never know.
Correct.
And this only goes for like work related things. I'm not saying when you're dating someone, just like not give them their space, because that's very different. I'm comparing two different things. Like when I'm in a relationship, I give the other person the entire freedom, saying, of course, and vice versa. It's not like I'm giving it to them. It's like they always have it. In a way where I'm like, like do what you want and I'll do what I want, right? Like, of course, at the end of the day, when you know that there is someone with you for you, right? That's a different happiness altogether. But काम में वो चीजें वो learnings यहाँ मत mix करो, because then you will not be a hustler is what I would say, right? And second advice would be that work as long as you think work is making you and keeping you happy. There is no limit, of course, to it. And if you're also overworking, if you ever overworking and stuff, find your balance. And third would be start investing in multiple incomes and portfolios at a young age, because when you're 25, 30, you already see people around you with a bigger income source or a bigger diversification, right? Just start investing in assets over anything else in life, and things that don't have depreciation, of course. Because if you have the money and I go out there and I buy an expensive car, let's say I buy a car for 10 lakhs and I sit in it, the value of the car's already becomes 6 lakhs, right? And stuff. So don't do investments that are stupid. At a young age, stabilize your things till a point where you have so much money in a safeguard where even if you don't work for a couple of years, or you need a medical emergency, of course, you have that kind of assets in place and stuff. So that's the third advice.
Thank you for that sensible advice to all of us. And Karan, it's been such a pleasure talking to you. I don't know how time just flew by.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Karan,
Thank you
for
so much
being
for having
here,
me. Yeah.
talking to us, and bearing your true self and your honest self, and telling things about and from your life that you have probably not told to anyone. So I really hope that we are not disappointing anybody through these conversations. The intent is pure, the heart is in a good place,
Yeah.
and I wish you more and more luck with all your new ventures that you're a part of, and just all the best for a great,
Thank you
great
so
life
much.
ahead.
I think all the thumbs down that I get would be from my friends and family who have mentioned and spoken bad about right now. Would be my dad giving me a thumbs down on my YouTube video, saying तूने मेरे साथ ऐसा किया था and everything. So yeah,
I'm sure he has forgiven you for all
just
that
yeah.
and more.
I'm gonna go and click on what's the thing called, which is like comments off or something. Because you'll probably see my dad commenting saying ऐसा करेगा मेरे साथ, or some stuff like that. I don't know.
I'm sure he has already forgiven you for that and
Of
more.
course, yeah.
Yeah.
My family has seen me grow over the years, and like I said earlier, also is that I didn't win a lot of awards in school, but I've been winning awards in life. So yeah, that's a good learning for me as well.
More
And,
power to you,
Thank you so much.
more success to you, and just God bless you.
Thank you so much. Hi guys, do subscribe to Shobha's channel, which is The Journey Within, and please do share this with your friends as well.